And despite their best efforts, despite the Carolina Panthers defense's best efforts, they did not give this one away. 36-30, overtime. I'm not telling you anything you did not realize or did not know because, like I said, there are plastered smiles on faces. Today is a much happier, much healthier day, even though the Panthers were up 20-3.
Right?
20-3. And I know Victoria threw something at something when it was 20-3, and then all of a sudden at halftime it was 20-17.
What are we doing? Yeah.
And then, not like Kyler Murray went super Kyler, but he went above average Kyler. Like he knew that I just needed to get us into the extra frame to see what would happen. And they did on a 58-yard field goal of all things, where you saw Bryce Young literally roll the eyes so far to the back of his head. Like, seriously, what do I got to do to get this team a win and erase a 4-game losing streak? And then what do? They go to the guy who got paid and clearly was affected by the pressure of the big paycheck. And instead, he said, give me the ball, I'm going to carry the mail, put the bag around me, and Chuba Hubbard did what Chuba Hubbard does best, carry the football and carry the team to a win. I thought, Victoria, after the first run there, with about 4 minutes to go, that we were going to see a slicked-back Eddie Pinheiro appearance.
Right.
For just a chip shot of a 40-yard field goal or so. No. Chuba Hubbard said, no.
Give it to me.
Not today. Not in the final home game of the season at home. Not today. And what does he do? Splits 2 defenders, makes them look silly, and the Panthers get a win.
It's beautiful.
Oh, you're still smiling. You are still smiling. That's the thing. Yeah. Like, of all people, Victoria's going to have so much patience today. If you were across Victoria during your travels over the next 48 hours, she will have so much patience with you.
And I do a lot of traveling. So
and
there
you do a lot of traveling. All right. Dave Canales, post-game speech. Let's lay it on him.
Hey! Panthers football looks like that. We didn't have any turnovers. No! Hell no! Could they run the ball in the second half? Hell no! You shut the run game down. You force them to pass. We knocked the ball down. We got after the quarterback. That's team football right there. That's team football. Guys, hold on to these moments. Every game is an opportunity to establish our style of football. That's what it looks like right there.
Hey, I love this team, bro. We just gonna keep working, bro. It's coming together, bro. I love y'all. Let's bring it in. Hey, family on 3, 1, 2, 3.
I love that the locker room says "Choop" too. Like,
they should. They should. He carried them to a win.
Did you see that fresh jacket he was wearing too? Yeah. A friend of the show, Vashti, I heard she had posted a little snippet of where she was talking to him about the jacket, and he was going over all the patches and stuff. I may or may not have said a comment. Hey, if he ever wants to give that up to an A1 fan since day one.
Right? That's funny.
I know of one.
That's good. Chuba Hubbard, the real deal. Everyone says he was undervalued when he was signed. He's definitely valued by this football team. Now, some people accuse me, Victoria, Paul Ihander here in for Adam Gold today. Some people accuse me of finding dog poop on the bottom of my shoe on a 72-degree sunny day, no matter what. I will not enjoy the sunny day. I will just be focused on the fact that there's poop on my shoe. Now, within that halftime, within that post-game conversation by head coach Dave Canales, what he did not let in on that portion where he said we stopped the run game in the second half, James Conner had torn them a something in the first half and was hurt in the second half. It was 20-3, as I did mention. I think I mentioned that once. And it ended up 30-30. And yes, they did stop the run. I'm not sure if giving up 30 points on defense is sustainable for this Carolina Panthers team. The last time the Carolina Panthers scored 36 in a game was when?
Ooh.
I'm gonna jog your memory.
Well, that was a long time ago.
It was a long time ago when Andy Dalton was quarterback.
Wow.
Against the Las Vegas Raiders.
Wow.
36 against a bad Raiders team. Now, again, let's scrape the dog poop off the shoe now. 36 against a very game Arizona Cardinals team who was playing for a playoff position, of which the Carolina Panthers said, no, Arizona Cardinals, you will go home the same time we will. You will not play in the postseason. So that is well done. No doubt that is well done. The game manager, Bryce Young, and that's what we can call him right now. He is an NFL quarterback, but yesterday was about managing the game. Talked about how the team has grown together in the face of adversity.
I think it's just us coming to our own, being able to start to establish an identity, understand what the brand of football that, we need to play is, what Coach brought here, and, getting more reps at that, more opportunity, us being able to grow together, to establish that, have that belief within ourselves. I think that, is something that's definitely grown throughout the year and something we have to continue to keep building on.
And that is a positivity from Bryce Young. That is quarterback speak. There's no doubt about it. But hang your hat on it that there weren't enough mistakes to be made across the board for the Panthers to lose this game. They definitely tried to give a little bit of it away, but they managed to grind it out in the end. And the overtime is where you close out games very clearly. Tough teams do that, and they took another big step in doing that. Doubling up their win total from last year.
Right.
That is unavoidable. Sending a team home packing, and now can continue to play in that spoiler role because they have Tampa and Atlanta coming up. Both teams tied at the top of the NFC South. Both teams hungry for postseason. Tampa did itself no favors losing to Dallas on Sunday night. Atlanta's breaking in a brand new quarterback, so we're not quite sure what we're getting with him, although Michael Penix did look pretty solid against the New York Giants.
Oh, bad.
Let's remind ourselves the New York Giants have the number one pick right now in the NFL draft if the season ended today.
Yes, they'll probably keep it.
So the Panthers and the Atlanta Falcons have something in common. So the Panthers can continue to play spoiler, in which they can make sure that neither of those teams get to figure out if they're going to play in the postseason until after the final gun has sounded on the final Sunday of the season. So that is good news, Panthers fans. Smile. It's okay to smile.
It's a good day.
It's a good day.
It's a cold day, but it's a good day.
Yeah, hey, a cold day, but at least it's not a cold day in hell. Because we would be speaking about that last year.
Yes.
A cold day in hell.
Yes.
Getting wins like that. And maybe a glimpse into the future of what this team needs to look like. Now, the way Dave Canales' identity with this team, what does he always say he wants to do, right? With authority, run the football. Running the football with authority also means you're going to mix up some passing too. Outscoring teams that score 30 points is very difficult when you want to play a ball control kind of game. But they managed to pull it out on Sunday. Maybe some of that magic is starting to get sprinkled, and as Bryce said, maybe this is this team coming together. 36-30, overtime. Let's talk professional hockey now. Carolina Hurricanes went into the House of Horrors.
Yes.
On Saturday afternoon, taking on the New York Rangers. And it was the biggest scare of them all when Jimmy Vesey scored in the first 17 seconds of the first period of the game yesterday. But then the Carolina Hurricanes settled in nicely. Bill Carrier got a goal. Jack Roslovic got a power play goal. His first goal in the power play, by the way. His first goal non-5-for-5 action. And he's got 14 goals, and now he and Marty Necas now stand atop of the goal scoring for the Carolina Hurricanes. And Sebastian Aho got his empty netter. It was a Russian duel on the ice, everybody. With Pyotr Kochetkov on one side, invading the other part of Russia with Igor Shesterkin. One of those goalies is going to get paid $11 million next year. One is not. Both played very well, like they would earn every penny of their paychecks. But it was Pyotr Kochetkov who did a lot of things. Pyotr Kochetkov scares me every once in a while. But yesterday he made a couple of aggressive plays, but stayed within that goalie boundary to where sometimes, and you all get it, when you watch Pyotr Kochetkov play goal, he gets a little bit far out there, and you're like, get your butt back in the crease!
Right. Don't be in the face-off circle.
Right. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Why are you out there? It's like, grab the rope. Come on, pull it back in, pull it back in, pull it back in, pull it back in. And he didn't do it yesterday, but he was still aggressive. He had a couple of great poke checks. One was on a power play. One was towards the end when they were trying to empty net man advantage, which actually ended up setting up that empty net goal for Sebastian Aho. Pyotr Kochetkov had 2 assists. 2 assists along with 30 saves. He was outstanding. Rod Brindamore even said it himself how outstanding Kochetkov was yesterday.
Oh, well, he was good. I mean, it was a tough start.
Okay, he was
we
good.
gave up a weird one right off the bat where they made a nice play. And but then after that, he was solid. And he made, I don't know how many, but a lot of good backdoor plays, especially on the power play for them. They had a few good looks, and, he was great for us.
He made some stops in that first period where the Rangers, probably the first, I want to say about 4 to 6 minutes of that first period, kept getting breakaways, or they were getting 2-on-1s with a couple of extra passes and whatnot, and they just couldn't find any sort of air between Kochetkov and the back of that net, which is a credit to him, which is a credit to the Hurricanes. Getting away wins are important. Getting wins, especially on this trip that they've got going on right now. It started a little ugly before the weekend against Washington. That one was...
Yeah, that was rough.
It was an enigma wrapped in a riddle, wrapped in an enigma. It just didn't look good. But they get the win against the New York Rangers, and they have back-to-backs. And for the Carolina Hurricanes, this is a story of two teams going in completely opposite directions right now. The Rangers have had full turnover. And you've heard Adam Gold talk about this, but when you get rid of your captain, and send him packing to the West and Jacob Trouba, and then you trade another guy in Capo Caco, and you have the Matt Rempe, who is a rhinoceros on ice, who just gets suspended for, I believe it was 8 games, for boarding a Dallas Stars star, you are in trouble. And your best player is your goalie. And Igor Shesterkin did his best. But it seems like if there is some sort of comfort for Carolina Hurricanes fans, it feels like they have solved the issue that is Igor Shesterkin. They have found ways to break the ice around him. And empty net goals don't count. I don't count that one. But he did give up 2, and 2 within 5 minutes of each other. And one happened to be on at the end of a 4-minute power play where the Canes kept shooting, and the Rangers were doing their best, and it just finally gave out. And when it always happens in power plays. It always happens right at the end. You hear the goalie bang the stick on the ice, and something always happens, without a doubt. I would love to see the analytic on that one.
Yeah, that would be great.
As soon as you hear the goalie slap the
it's a warrior
stick,
call.
yeah, it's like, hey, it's coming.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, wait a second. Maybe I shouldn't be slapping that stick because it's coming right back at me again. Carolina Hurricanes did well, 3-1. They have the Nashville Predators tonight in a back-to-back, waiting to see who gets the call and goal. Probably Dusty.
Yeah.
Will get the role for them. And we'll see if the Hurricanes sustain any sort of bumps or bruises as they roll on. But it is a reunification or reuniting with Brady Shea, former Carolina Hurricane, who took the money to go to Nashville to a bad Nashville Predators team. But he's played every night. He's got a couple of goals, and it will be good to see him on the ice. I hope we destroy him.
Right. Love you, but hope you lose.
Love you, but not in love with you.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about comeback Carolina, shall we? North Carolina Tar Heels, in which they have been, and this is the basketball team, not talking about the football team. I mean, we could, I guess, talk about the football team, but we want to focus on basketball right now. Because this is nearly the end. They still have one more, but nearly the end of the non-conference schedule. And the one thing that the North Carolina Tar Heels were searching for, had been looking for, and I had said it on my program locally in Raleigh on 99.9 The Fan, was a signature win. And a signature win that they could count on against a top 25 team. And they were they ran out of opportunities. This was the last bit in this CBS Sports Classic thing in New York, in which the North Carolina Tar Heels nearly faded into existence. They were fighting for their lives, looking for something, and they were down 16 points. Again, the comeback kids of Carolina. They were down 16 in this one. 8 at halftime, and clawed and scratched their way back so much that they got it. They came all the way back. 76-74 over UCLA. And it was this thought of where this team could be if they made a simple lineup change. And the lineup change didn't happen, but a lot more minutes came from their star freshman Ian Jackson and Hubert Davis, the head coach of the Heels. Thankful Ian Jackson showed up and showed out in this one.
Well, he's still a freshman, but I'm just really proud of him. Obviously, it has nothing to do about today. Every day after practice, he always sends me a text and he says, "Coach Davis, that's it." And so I have to call, I go, Player Jackson. And he goes, how can I improve? What can I do better? Every day. He does that. And that's the thing, when you're around great kids like RJ and Ian and you get to coach them and they want to be coached, that's the biggest, that's really enjoyable and fun for me.
24 for Ian Jackson in the win, 32 minutes off the bench, had to supplant some of the starters from time to time. RJ Davis did what he needed to do. Seth Trimble did what he needed to do. Elliot Cadeau, though, and Ian Jackson, though, the one thing that they need to control and need to figure out is how to take care of the basketball. Between the two of them, they had 9 turnovers. And that's not how you win basketball games. That's how you end up with 16-point deficits, not 16-point wins. Hard-fought win, it's a grow-up game. It's a glow-up, grow-up kind of game for the Heels. They needed one of these. They needed one against a good basketball team in UCLA, and that's a slip-up for the Bruins, but it's a level up for the Heels. They needed one. They needed to finish one of those comebacks. They've been starting out slow. Don't quite understand what that is. Ian Jackson came to play. And the one thing about Hubert Davis is now that he understands what he's got and he can get that production off the bench from Jackson if he gets the consistent minutes, it's very clear when he plays more, he scores more because he feels like he's more in rhythm. RJ Davis is going to get his points too. It's going to have to come at the sacrifice of somebody else. We understand this. I'm not quite sure you can keep running out a 4-guard lineup in the ACC. You might be able to run guys around a little bit, but if shots don't fall and you can't clean the glass, you can't get rebounds or second chance opportunities, it's going to hurt you. I'm not telling Carolina basketball fans anything they don't know right now. Nothing. But what is important for the Heels to understand is they do have some weapons off the bench. That rotation, I believe, is going to get a lot tighter. And the faces that you saw last year, or at least the faces that you saw starting this year in that starting lineup, the Jalen Withers and the Jalen Washingtons of the world, are going to see fewer and fewer minutes. They're seeing the same thing at Duke right now, Victoria. Duke took out Georgia Tech over the weekend. This was a cakewalk. Like this was the epitome of a cakewalk. It was tight in the first half for sure. Second half, it was about just kind of asserting dominance. 82-56, Duke Blue Devils over Georgia Tech. Concanepple had 18 points, kind of erased some of the shooting woes that he had been dealing with. Some solid performances once again out of Cooper Flagg, Tyrese Proctor, Malawak. Caleb Foster, though, finds himself playing fewer minutes, but chipping in the same amount of points right now. He has turned into a little bit more of a role player as John Shire figures out his lineups and has inserted Sion James to take out some of those minutes. But Duke is playing very good basketball right now. There's a lot going on there. John Shire talking about the evolution of the Blue Devils as they head through and start ACC play.
I think we've grown so much. Just the togetherness, the toughness, and specifically the thing that's grown the most is our defense. I look back on that game, our defense wasn't close, to where it is now, and that's going to be what drives us the whole year. And this team has embraced it. Con knows it, and again, we'll see 33 days from now, and we have to continue to grow.
Growth is a good thing when it comes to a young basketball team. There has been some acceptance of the roles, there's no doubt about it, when it comes to Duke basketball. And there is more and more praise for their defense every single night. They do defend really well. And they have turned it on since that Auburn game where they controlled Louisville and definitely kind of just mopped up against this non-conference schedule going into that game against Georgia Tech. It was good basketball for the Duke Blue Devils. That's about what you can say. It is solid basketball as they continue ACC play. It's a big holiday break for everybody. They have Virginia Tech and SMU right around the start of the year.
SMU football this weekend.
Oh, well, the saying goes, don't beat a dead horse, right? That was the beating of a dead horse at Penn State. Mm-hmm. There's no doubt about it. All right, NC State Wolfpack basketball as we round out our little Let's Get It Started segment. They did the same kind of thing against the Rider Bronx. The Bronx are so bad they couldn't even spell Broncos. They had to drop the second O. This wasn't much of a basketball game. NC State Wolfpack played a ton of defense in this one. They wanted to make sure that they could get Kevin Keats' son out on the floor for about a minute at the end of the game. I mean, KJ got into the box score. Jordan Snell got into the box score. This was just about tuning up for the Wolfpack. They finished out things in terms of like that non-conference schedule the right way they needed to. They weren't going to be able to sustain the defense they did in the first half. I mean, they were up 29 at the end of the first half, folks. I'm like, if you didn't watch the game, you missed the game, or you weren't there in person. It was a Winter Wonderland theme night, by the way, at Lenovo Center in Raleigh. It was a winter storm against Ryder.
A blizzard.
Yeah, it was a blizzard. It's pretty much what it was. Jaden Taylor did Jaden Taylor things, scoring 16 in 24 minutes. It wasn't even close. It was a good tune-up for Kevin Keats' squad as they also roll into ACC play. They open up against Virginia on New Year's Eve, and they have a tough Wake Forest assignment right after that. So good news. Again, we started out this by saying if you were a fan of a Carolina-based college, university, professional team, the ones we just spoke about, you should be happy today. You should be thrilled. And you will not be worried about the white elephant gift you got at work or the fact that the catering didn't come through and all that showed up was a couple of cold sandwiches and you still have to work today and tomorrow. A lot of us are out there. And I do want a hat tip to those of you who are rolling in retail right now or rolling in deliveries. The last couple of days, especially around here, have been chilly. You're seeing your breath for sure, and I have seen deliveries, and my Ring camera goes off at 5:30 in the morning.
Oh wow!
And I'm like, goodness gracious!
I know.
What are you doing?
Had to scrape the windshield this morning.
Had to scrape the windshield this morning.
That was kind of new.
An interesting sensation, right? Like the frost on your fingers,
right?
So
Jack
to speak.
Frost.
Yeah, no, I did that. I think I woke up my neighbors too. I have a longer ice scraper.
Oh yeah.
So it's like.
Uh-huh. Yeah. See, I need that though. My short arms, like I gotta have the reach. Like
I have the short arms too, so that's why I bought the longer one.
Yeah.
I can grip on one end and hold the other thing. It's got the little brush extension on
fancy.
it, so I can brush off the little.
If we ever get snow, maybe potentially.
I don't know when's that happening. We have affiliates in Asheville, right? Asheville.
Yeah.
They get the snow. They know what I'm talking about. You get out the choppers, and then you got the big scraper with the brush.
Yep.
I still have a snow shovel. Like, I keep it in my car.
Yeah?
Just in case.
You never know. The one year that you get rid of it, it'll snow that year. And then you won't have it. You're out there with a bucket. Done it.
For those of you